Thank you. I hope this is not the end.
No, it's the beginning.
So the way this is going to be is I'm just going to talk about some times of my life. So the first 18 years of my life are just about the background, why I took the first decisions that I take. Then those gap periods are kind of important, and 3 years in college that were very difficult for me. Then 4 more years in college, so I spent 7 years in my undergrad, and you're going to know why in a minute. And then everything just went really fast up to here. So first, that's me. If you've met my son, that's how he's going to look in a few years. And that's my family, of course. I have older brother, two brothers and a sister. I was very clumsy. I was always injured. I was always curious. I was always running. And I was always in a bad mood also. I don't know why. And my dad, my mom, they're both doctors. My mom hates math, but she loves me. She openly said that she's a dermatologist because she didn't want to have anything with numbers. But now she's coming to me every day to say, like, hey, can you tell me what this data said? Can you help me to do this? So it's kind of funny turnaround. And then this is really important. I went to a school that was focused on entrepreneurship. Not in science, not in science. Like, I didn't know that math were actually a career, or biology, or any kind of science. So I was brought into a world in which you are a doctor, an architect, or a lawyer, or you have a company, or you work for it. And that was a big influence because also my dad was a very strong presence in my life. He would say like, oh, I recommend you to do this, which meant you should do this. So I went on economics and political science for my undergrad. You should have clapped yet because I hate it. But I didn't feel I'd take that decision for myself. I thought that was a decision my dad. Very well intended, very good intentions, good for me. So that's me in economics and political science. I was sad. Always injured, as you can see. Probably was the same injury I had when I was a kid, I don't remember, but I was sad and I was not ready. I was not enjoying it. So, but you have to finish what you started, right? That's something that you are being told a lot of times. Right? If you start something, you have to finish. What if I miss it? What if I don't like it? I'm having a really bad time. And the only reason I decided to drop out of economics and political science was because I liked my math classes so far, 3 calculus and just a couple of things. And I said, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go for math. But I didn't know what was a math major. I didn't know that at all. I just followed my heart, And this is going to be important. That was the only true life-changing decision I ever made. Because I really think that changing career was life-changing in a good way. I really changed my mindset. I was having too much fun in college instead of focusing on my studies. And once I changed, everything happened. And this is a picture of me, like the other one, being a math major. And I had an appendicitis because I was too stressed about my linear algebra final test. But I'm happy. So I was with my belly open, just 1 week away from the final. I was asking for my books. I need to bring my books. I need to study. You got to do a good job. And that's how you know you're doing something that you like. If you're having a bad time and you're still happy, that's because you're doing the right thing. If you're having a lot of fun but you're miserable, you're not in the right time. Everything changed. So once I started to be a math major, I was very active, very participative. I went to all the congresses I could. I went to all the talks that were in my school. That's really something important for you that you are actually doing. You're here, right? I started dating Mariana, and she's my wife now. But I never say my wife because that sounds met very intelligent peers. That's mine. Oh. Well, you can figure out which one is mine, right? The clicker is not very good. There you go. That's mine. And that was also very life-changing. I started dating her, but I met her when I was 14 years old. Just to know. So I met very intelligent peers, truly challenging. That I don't mean that my peers in economics were not intelligent. I just didn't care what they were talking about. I was not challenged by them because every time they were talking about school, I was like, oh, come on. I didn't like it. But now I've met people that had the same interests, so I was really challenged by them. Like, why do you say that? Why do you want to do that? Because suddenly you're surrounded with people that are supposed to have the same interests of you that you have, but they want to do something different, and you wonder, why don't I want to do that, exactly that? That's challenging, but also there became really great friends. I was very active and participative. I want to say that 2 times. That's not a mistake. It's very important to keep moving. And then I started working on my thesis. It was my first approach by statistics. It was a Bayesian model to found the risk factors of newborns using clinical data from the mothers. Took me like 3 years to finish it, but I was attracted. This is something important I want to tell you. When I was on my undergrad, I was attracted to the statistics, Bayesian modeling, artificial intelligence, expert systems, all kind of stuff that I think you're having that problem. You know, like there are so many cool things. Which one should I take? Any of them. All of them are cool. Or all of them if you can. Then, when I was on my last semester, I got married. I got a really good job. I remember I said to Mariana, I'm going to start looking for a job if I get a good salary. Actually, if I pass this threshold in my salary, I'll propose. And she was like, oh yeah, sure, well, why not? And then my first job offer came, and it was above that threshold. And I was with her when I got the call, and she told me, so what was the offer? I was like, in that moment, I was like, should I say? You know? Should I just keep it just the border? Maybe it's like, oh, that was not a good answer. What should I say? So I said, like, I can claim, you know, I said, fruit. So that's above the threshold. She remembered. And, she said, like, so I'm like, yeah, do you want to marry me? That was my first proposal. I actually did have an official one with the ring and the surprise. That was tricky because she knew that I was going to propose. So I got married and I started to work on a huge company. This Grupo Salinas is one of the biggest companies in Mexico, in Latin America. Probably there were no U.S. and Canada, it would be America. But it was about market research most of the time. It was about, the title was data scientist, and I was supposed to be a manager. The truth is I was only 23 years old, and I wasn't ready for that kind of job. It was very good because I learned a lot about how to stand in front of senior people and not feel completely intimidated, just a little bit intimidated. And I learned a lot about managing it, I learned about industry, but I learned basically nothing about statistics. That was a big deal for me. I was like 2 years after I was in that role, I didn't feel I was growing as a statistician, as a scientist. That was not the point. I didn't want to major just to become that. I want to raise that, not just. To become that, because that's not just. That's one way. A lot of my friends did that, and they're incredibly happy by that. You know? I was getting really good money. I had a really bright future ahead. I had a father that was very proud and very happy that I could actually, you know, I had security. But I had everything. I had a beautiful wife, beautiful Mariana, and I actually was living 2 blocks away from where I worked, which is extremely rare in Mexico City, but I was not yet happy. So I told Mariana I want to do a master's degree. not I'm going to get a job and it's going to be harder for you. Well, I'll take this opportunity, and that's when I went to Guanajuato, and this is when things started to change real quickly. In my first year, I became a dad. I was just going to stop talking about things. So I came to Guanajuato, which is where Southson's studying right now, our undergrad. I finished my thesis because I got accepted into a master's, and they told me, okay, you're accepted, but where's your degree? And I couldn't get my degree if I didn't finish my thesis. So I finished my Bayesian model to identify risk factors in neurons. I read it, well, I skimmed it yesterday, and I was like, oh, I can't believe they gave me a degree because of this. But it was a fun job, you know. It was hard when I did it. It's just when you look back, it's like, oh my God, I was so intimidated by something that I can actually do now, and I was capable of doing it at that time. I came to the master's with only one motivation, and was learning as much as I could. For the first time, I was gradeless. I didn't have enough grades. I was like, this is going to be my last degree. I'm not interested in more education, so I better take as much as I can. So just by having a learning motivation, I had the best grades I ever had. Because I was just about learning. If they had like, you have to do this homework, well, like, okay, what does this homework wants to teach you? If the test was around the corner, well, like, I really want to learn everything that is on the book. And most likely it's going to be on the test, right? And started a family, and this is a great story. I'm going to try to make it short. During my first year of my master's, during your first year you have like core courses, and then you have to take some quals. Only one shot, with a pre-exam during a week. And Mariana was pregnant with Sebastian, and her delivery date was the same day the last exam was. You know? And everybody in my family was in Mexico City, which is 4 hours away driving. And Guanajuato is a small city, and we didn't want to take a chance of, you know, we had family, bigger hospitals, insurance, all my father's mother's friends, doctors there to help us in Mexico City. So like, we're going to have in Mexico City. Well, the problem is that I'm not going to be able to be in Mexico City for the last week. You know? So that was the most stressful week in my life because I was like doing the exam. It was like 4 or 5 hour exam. So like, my cell phone was off. I was like, there's nothing I can do to help Mariana if suddenly rings and I have to go to Mexico City in the middle of the exam. And but I would probably fail the exam if I get that kind of interruption in the middle of it. So I did my quals. I passed them all. It was fine. I went back to Mexico City. She was still pregnant. And suddenly I was exhausted. I remember it was a Wednesday. I went to bed and I woke up on Sunday. And like, I think I'm fully rested now. And that day, in the morning, in the night, Mariana broke her water. Sebastian was born on Monday, which was the first day of classes of my second year. You know, I was a TA for my first time. I was a dad for my first time, as far as I know.
Censored.
And I wanted to have a PhD. I don't know where it came, it just hit. It hit me hard, and I, again, told Mariana, you know, I think I want to do a PhD. And she was like, well, you hurry up, because we're not going to stop moving. She said, like, we're going to still having a family. We're not going to stop having a family. But if you wait too long, then it's going to be harder. So it was too late to start doing my application. It was September, you know, it was December, so I decided to wait a year. And that second year of my master's, you know, Sebastian was helping me a lot in my work. These were my students. I was TA 2 semesters in a row with the same people, actually. And I was a teaching assistant, and I had 2 projects on the side. One with the industry was a consulting project which paid for some stuff for Sebastian, And then I was working on one paper with my dad that actually got published this January, which was super cool. And then I applied to a Fulbright scholarship to my PhD. I got waitlisted, if that's a verb, and so I ended my master's, and I had to look for a job for the whole year that I had to wait. I got 2 offers. A really cool job with PepsiCo, it was very interesting, it was very low paid, or a very well paid job. Back in the same company I was before. So the difference of salaries were like, something like, imagine you were offered $30,000 a year or $80,000. It was a huge salary difference. So I told my aunt again, I don't know what I would do without this. What should I do? I should choose. And she was like, okay, if you choose a miserable job and then you don't get accepted to a PhD, you're gonna be stuck in a job that you don't like, but you have too much money. So it's gonna be hard to resign. But if you get the cool job and we kind of get a little place and figure it out and still kind of wait until you get a better offer, if you don't get accepted to a PhD, you're going to be happy. At least you'll have a job that you like. So we can wait a little. There is no rush. I know you'll be successful sometime. And you have to choose wisely, but it's your call. I'll support you whatever you do. I pass on the money. I choose the passion. I think that was a great call. That's PepsiCo headquarters in New York. That's the whole team that was my whole team, well, not mine, the team I was in. People from all over the world. We were the global statistics team for PepsiCo worldwide. I was in charge of whole Latin America, and still was not paying very good, which is confusing, but it is what it is. But it was a great job. I enjoyed it a lot. I got accepted to the PhD here in Michigan and some other places. I only got 1 rejection out of 5, which is more than I expected, These photos, this is the open house here at Michigan and Arbor. You can see how I was not prepared for the cold.
You are not allowed to talk about winter in Michigan, because that's why we do the Summer Institute.
Oh, this is the open house in Minnesota. It was horrible. I'm just kidding. These 2 pictures are less than 4 days apart. So PepsiCo took me to a global retreat, which I just fell in love with all these people that I just only knew on the phone and video conferences. And I was like, this team is cool. I want to be part of this team. I want to stay here. And then 3 days later, I came to Michigan, open house, and I was like, damn, what should I do? I love this school. I love professor. I talked to everybody I could, and I said, it's so cool. So what should I do? What should I do? I was very, should I stay or should I go? And that's when it hit me. There was no wrong answer. If I stay, I would be happy. If I go, I would be happy. There was no wrong answer. Still, it's hard to decide. That's when I realized that I've been taking all these decisions, except for changing career. I've been taking these decisions, all afraid of being wrong, but you can only be right if you choose what you like, even if it's between 10 different choices. So then why? Great job, great boss, great team, then why the PhD? I honestly kind of don't know exactly why I choose it, in the sense of when Mike Brinke told me that I was accepted, I hang up, I called my and I said, like, guess what? I got accepted to Michigan, because that was the first notice that I got. I got accepted to Michigan. I guess we're going. She was like, I thought you didn't know what to do. Like, oh, wait, yeah, you're right. I guess I do know. I guess I do know. And there's one thing that was a big thing. I was teaching at my former university. I was actually teaching my own course for the first time, a statistics course, and I simply love students. I love being capable of teach something. Maybe that's why I like to be a father as well, because you teach all kinds of stuff. Not always the good stuff, but you teach stuff, to some. And maybe that was the only thing that I was not getting out of PepsiCo, teaching. And that was a big thing for me. New home, new friends, new mentors, new challenges, new weather. Great. I love the snow. I love the winter. I truly do. And I love the summer as well. This is Mariana, and now we are waiting a baby girl. And that's Sebastian. If you have good photographic memory, you can see how he looks a lot like those pictures that I showed you. I choose genetics. I'm working with Sebastian Genetic Resource. I'm fascinated about the whole new things that after 7 years working as statistics, there are a bunch of things that I didn't even know they existed. And I know that it's growing faster than the things that I actually know. And that's fascinating. That's something that you can get in an academic profession. You will hardly get, I'm not saying you are not going to get it in the industry. It's harder to get. I'm a BSI coordinator, and I'm very, very, very happy to be with you guys here. I'm going out a little bit too fast. No, actually, it's going on, yeah. Anyway, so since 2013, I have lived in 7 different houses. Mariana doesn't like that, but I'm sorry. 3 cities, 2 countries. That's only in 5 years. Have 2 jobs in the industry. 1 half-time teaching position, 3 different TAs. Read and present 2 theses. Learned the most valuable lessons in my life so far. I don't know. I'm probably going to learn even more valuable ones. Became a dad. To be honest, I was always a dad. My friends always bother me with, oh, that's a dad joke, that's a dad joke. I don't know that. And that's been since I'm a little kid, Being very goofy and very, yeah, I was a dad, but still counts, still home. I've loved, and I've been loved, There's more. I've taken 3 path-changing decisions. Not 1 life-changing, 3 path-changing, which was getting out of the industry, go for master's, go back to the industry, get a PhD. All was path-changing, not life-changing, path. That would mean if either way I would have a different path, but my life would be pretty much the same. Because I don't want to qualify my life by the things that I've done outside my house. My elements of them are truly important for me, and the most important thing for me. I think Mike mentioned something like that when he's during talk, and I was, yes, I truly agree. Every time my friend says, like, I don't know how you handle PhD in a family, master's in a family, 2 jobs in a family, PhD plus external in a family, they're like, I think you're putting the wrong part. Your family is just these big rocks that you put on a basket, and then your job are some smaller rocks that you put in the basket. If you fill the basket with smaller rocks, then there's no room for the big ones. You have to put first the big ones, then the smaller ones, then the sand, and in the end, just the water. And I stole that from some YouTube or Facebook post. I'm not that one. I've been mentored by 4 people, but 4 official mentors, which were my master's thesis advisor, my boss at Mexico. He was a truly mentor. He told me the day I was so scared the day I told him that I was going to be fine. So Frank, he's American. He lives in Texas now. One of the best persons I ever met in my life. Frank, I had this opportunity. I admitted to PhD, University of Michigan, and I'm leading the company in probably 3 to 4 months. He was like, oh, that's great. Tell me more about this PhD program. Like, oh, that's nice statistics. It's a great department. Do you remember we went to New York and we met all of them? Yeah, all kind of went after that to the open house. Like, oh, yeah, everybody asked for vacations. Yeah, I did, And then he suddenly said, like, oh, well, I wish you well. Let's wait a couple of months before we tell our boss, because, we don't want him to do it. We want to handle this the right way. I'm like, okay, sure. And I told him, what do you think? As a friend, as a mentor, not as my boss. Do you think it's the right call to worth to go for a PhD? And he said, I think you would be very, very dumb if you don't. He didn't say that. I don't want to be censored 2 times in the same presentation. You'll be very foolish if you don't take it. As a boss, of course, I have to tell you, don't go. I want you here. But as a friend, go for your PhD. And I asked him, why do you think that? So like, because if you're brave enough to leave this job, to do something that's going to pay you less, that is going to be more work, that is going to cost all the immediate things that you can get with a job, then that's because you want it. And that's the only reason that counts. I really appreciate it. I still talk to him. He always asks me if I already passed my calls. I haven't. Sebastian and Brice have been my mentors, and I'm searching to recruit a new mentor. She's around the room. Yeah, that's you, Bernard. But mentors doesn't have to be more senior than you. I've learned a lot from my son. I've learned a lot from my brothers, from my friends. Those are like indirect mentors. So trust in the people that you know. Met the most intelligent people. You guys are in that group. I'm very impressed how you can handle this program. I probably wouldn't be able to do it at your age. Love, be loved. Again, I want to say it again. That's very important for me. And the most important thing is I've never stopped moving. In 5 years, I've done a lot of foolish things, a lot of smart things, but I've done things. I think that's the most important thing to realize if you want to know what you want to do, you just have to do things. If you want to win the lottery, you have to actually get off the couch, go and buy a ticket. You have to do something. So if you want to find out what you like, you have to do things until you hit one. So, I really like this. What have I learned? You have more than one good path to choose. Not only one. Don't be afraid that you choose wrongly. You're going to choose right, I'm sure. You can't have too many mentors. Anyone can be your mentor. Don't rush your decisions. I think that's a very important one. If you have time, take it. If you don't have to decide right now, don't decide right now. And the PhD was one of them. I got a real cool job. I still applied. And my dad, why are you going to apply if you like your job? Well, because I'm still not sure that I don't want to go to PhD. So I'm just buying some time. And it turns out it was a good call. You have to accept, sometimes you're a mistake. You have to accept losses. You have to accept that. And you have to change your mind. If you were wrong, then you're wrong. And there's nothing wrong about being wrong. That was too many times saying wrong in the same 10 seconds. But every life is unique, and you are unique. And even though it's very contradictory that I'm saying this, don't try to be like somebody else. Just learn the things that you think are for you. And the ones that don't apply, just discard them. You'll be fine. And this was from Frank Fesco. He always told me, choose kindness, be grateful, ask for help, and offer your help. That is going to make you frank with everybody. And there's nothing more enlightening than talking to somebody else. Any kind of topic. You always learn from everybody. So I'm going to end with 2 quotes. One from my mother, one from, of course, Mariana. My mother, she said this when I was applying to a PhD. I wish you do not know which way to go, but have ways. I'm going to explain it. It's translated, so that's why it doesn't really make sense. She meant that she was wishing me to have, that I was confused about not knowing what to do because I have too many options, too many paths to follow. And I was very, very concerned about PhD or industry before I started my job because I didn't know if I was going to like it. And she told me that, oh, well, I wish you have too many, I wish you really hardly that you don't know what to do for the right reasons. You don't know what to do because you have too many things to do. I wish that's that also. And this is something that Mariana said about being a mother. She said, you will never be prepared. You must be naive and foolish. You close your eyes and you take a look. And that's how I do a lot of things. I just, you will never be prepared to it. You just have to do it. You have to be naive and foolish because otherwise you wouldn't do it. Right? If I knew what I was getting into PhD, I would have done it. Because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of frustration, it's not always happy and, oh my God, I love my job. Sometimes you spend a week finding nothing in the research. And that's just a week. You'll be fine. You're going to be here stuck for 5 years. So hopefully it's going to be a few months and not the whole 5 years. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Pedro. No, we have a Q&A session.
Yes.
So I actually feel very emotional because I felt like I saw myself in Pedro. I had my daughter when, so I took my PhD qualifiers 10 days after my daughter was born. And being a mother and a graduate student, and I saw the same thing, the same passion that you don't have money, you don't have family, but still you have an instinct which makes you do the right thing. And so it's really those choices that we make. And sometimes we take the right decision, but sometimes we just make the decision right. And so that's so important to make this journey. And so and when people always ask me like, Ramar, why do you work so hard? Why do you keep doing this? And it's this moment because I get to see people like Pedro and witness their journey and be a part of their journey. So thank you so much. Any questions for Pedro?
This is not a question, it's just a comment, and maybe it's just me, but I feel like even though you've had the shortest journey so far, your journey looks to have been the most inspiring, and you've had the most helpful advices. And most of the other full professor lectures, so maybe it's just me, I don't know. But thank you.
Thank you very much. Questions? No? Lucy?
When you said you were studying like econ and poli sci before, and you decided to switch to math. When you made that change, what was driving you? Like, how did you know which way to go when you were making that switch?
So I knew I needed a switch because I didn't feel happy. And how do you know you're not happy? That's a tough one, but sometimes it's tough if you're there. But how can I say this? I was not happy because the most important thing that was, your family and what you do, I was not enjoying. I was not enjoying my parents and my brother. I was not enjoying going to school. I was not enjoying anything. I was going to a lot of parties. I was meeting a lot of people. I was having a good time, but not enjoying it. So that was for 3 years. Also, I went to classrooms and didn't agree with what people said. Like, oh, this is the most cool thing. This is very interesting. I was like, I don't think that's very interesting. And one thing really triggered was when I was starting to look for a job. And I saw the job description for economists and political scientists. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I feel no interest in doing that. And I'm already 3 years and a half ahead in programming. Maybe this is going to be useful. In Mexico, you don't really choose a major, you choose a program. So since your first semester in college, you have to take courses that are related to the program. So when I switch, I actually have to start over again. You know? What made me take the decision was I have to do something about it. I thought about it for a year. It was not something that happened in 1 month. I knew I was going to happen. I knew I needed to change. Why math? Just the only information I had is the only classes that I enjoyed were all the classes that were just about math. Calculus, differential equations. Those were the classes I enjoyed. So if you think about it, I did not know what I was doing. Like I said, I just closed my eyes and just took the leap. And Mariana was a big help in that because she was actually going through the same thing with her friends, and she was studying physics, and she changed to industrial engineering. She actually dropped down physics without knowing what to do, and she spent a year figuring it out. And during that year, we started to talk a lot, and I feel like there's this great woman that she doesn't know what to do, but still she's not willing to do what she doesn't like. And I'm here being very coward because I'm doing something that I don't like. So I followed her lead of change. And I don't know if that answered your question in any way.
No, it helps a lot. Can I kind of add another comment on that? Where it's personally for me, I feel like I can't tell if I like what I'm doing. It's sometimes I'm oh, this is interesting, but then other times there are other things. I can't tell if I'm enjoying it or not. And I don't know if that's a sign that I'm not enjoying it or just need to be more hardy. I don't know.
Don't be so hard to yourself. You don't have to enjoy every single second of your life. Sometimes you do things that you don't like, and that doesn't mean that the bigger picture is you're missing. Don't be so hard to yourself. That would be my answer. If you're enjoying parts of it, then you're probably in a good track. You might have to keep doing things, keep experimenting, doing different things. Try something new, try something different, and see what happens. And but don't be so. I think that's a problem with our generation. It's that we were told by Disney that we have to be happy all the time, and you don't have to be completely happy all the time. You have to enjoy the whole picture. There are going to be dark times, for sure. I don't know if that helped. I hope it did. I think there was... let's see.
You mentioned that you and your mother got a paper published.
Yeah.
What it was about and how it got started?
So, as I said, my dad is a pediatrician. He's always specialized in neonatal newborns, babies that are born a little bit before their time. And there is, when babies spend too much time without oxygen, they get neurological problems. And one technique is to actually drop their temperature down, a lot of degrees, to slow down the process of actually being out of oxygen, something like that. Sorry about the science part. However, that process of cooling down kids, it's expensive. So my dad went to a hospital, saw the machine, and said, that's basically a mattress with ice. So he went back to Mexico, he bought some mattresses, he put some ice, and he actually built a protocol. And he had, I think, 20 babies, 20 parents that were agreed to test this protocol, and we proved that his mattress with ice was equivalent with really expensive machines.
Do you have enough power with that sample size?
We don't have enough power. But the data, we don't prove that was that's the Western world.
Yeah.
But it really looks like in that direction. So actually, the article is like this is amazing because all of the kids did well, all of them, 20 of them. None of them had any problem.
Oh.
So that was the big point. We have zero failures in these 20 kids. And I actually talked to him, you should be careful with this data. You have not too many kids, so if you want to publish it, just say, this looks in the right direction. We should try to do more cheapish. And how it came up, I was doing my master's and my father had some data and he wanted some help. So I helped him. It was very challenging because father
With
is
parents.
not really a good thing to do. Right.
Did you learn something unique from economics and political science that you apply to your current research?
To my current research, well, calculus. That I have to take those again. No, nothing from economics. I certainly did learn things that I used or that are helpful, but nothing from my research. Yeah.
Has anyone thought of doing a full-scale study based on the one you studied?
Sorry?
Has anyone thought of doing a full-scale study based on the one you did?
No, we're not. That's what he's told me. He's not really interested in actually doing this stuff. He's just pointing out that technology can be simplified. And in Mexico, it's not easy. It's not easy to get. He works in a very, very big hospital. Most the biggest. It's a private hospital. They have money, but still they're not. He's even friend of the chair of the board. He's not interested in it. So I'll just publish this idea and see what happens.
After you finish your PhD, do you want to stay in the U.S. or go back to Mexico?
I don't know. I do want to go back to Mexico. I do like the U.S. So it's still too early to decide. I don't want to go back to Mexico City though. It's trickier because basically all the jobs in the cities are in Mexico City. But I fell in love with small cities. Like, I don't want to go back to Mexico City. I don't really have a choice in that sense of Fulbright gives you a specific type of visa, and I have to go back for at least 2 years in order to be here. Still, regardless of that, I wouldn't know what to do.
So could you please talk a little bit about your experience with the cultural shock that you experienced, and like how long did it take you to get acclimated to the new environment?
Well, like fully acclimated?
Like as acclimated as you were comfortable.
Just a couple of hours. Well, in my specific case, I was very aware of American culture because I actually went to summer camp in Pennsylvania. I was a counselor for 3 summers, and I was a campus 4 of them. 3 or 4 summers, I don't know. So that's 7 summers spent in the U.S. I kind of knew in a broader sense what I was expecting. However, I can tell you that Mariana did, it was a little bit harder for her. I don't know, Mexico is pretty close. We have Water Channel, and all the movies and everything is just hitting you all the time in Mexico. American culture is very strong in Mexico. How do you say cool in Spanish? Cool. It's the same word. How do you say, I don't know. There's so many words that we actually take from the United States. So I don't think it took me a lot of time for me to actually get a cultural. It was not a big cultural shock. It was hard because my first PA class, I remember I got here on Monday, and the next Monday I had to be teaching and using SAS, and I didn't know SAS. And, it was my first English lesson class. And I was the first PA, and the professor said, like, I'm going to watch you. And the other PA said, like, I'm going to be there just to see what you say. I'm like, oh, please don't do that. I'm too nervous. And it turned out fine. That was hard because I've never been in a classroom in the United States. That's different. And my first experience in a classroom in the United States, I was impressed. So that was like, how are things supposed to be done here, right? What I did is just, I did what I had to do, and I think it was fine. I learned that it was not what I was expected to do, but not been really happy.
So you said that you started, when did you start dating Mariana? Like how old were you?
So I started dating Mariana when I was We've been married for 5 years. We've been dating for 10 years. We've known each other for 16 years.
But like, how was it hard for her? Like, how do you guys balance each other's like kind of like career aspirations? Like,
So that's a very good question. I will really wish her to be here to answer because she's much wiser than me. But I mean, it was more about time. So she's been a stay-home mom most of the time. But she didn't have a job when I decided to go for a master's. So she said, like, I'm not going to look for a job in Mexico City that I'm going to put in 3 months or 4 months. I was already accepted. So like, I'm just going to wait until we get there. We got there. She was looking for a job, and then she got pregnant, and I talked to her. I said, like, what do you want to do? You want to work? You want to, whatever you want to do, we'll figure it out. She's like, I want to stay with my kid. That was her choice. And I always tell her, like, in the second you want to change, if you want to go to work, if you want to go to a master's, whatever you want to do, you're always free to just say it, and we'll figure it out, you know? Some couples, they choose to live in different countries even, to choose their own aspirations, and that works for them. We think for us, that doesn't work. We like to stay together, like I have the word in Spanish, and I don't think that's zero, but I don't know, like I said, quesadilla. And that works for us. And her aspirations right now is to be a great mom. That's what she likes. That's what she wants to do. And I always tell her that we don't know. I might be stay-home dad in 10 years. Not because I'm doing the PhD right now, and it's more likely, I don't know if that's accurate, that I'll get a job, and that's the way we're going to maintain the family. That doesn't mean that in the future, actually, things are going to be the opposite, that she's going to get a really great job and need me to stay at home the whole time. That's fine. You know, it's about the timing. If she were working when I wanted to do a master's, and she would say, you know what, I love my job, I want to move out, I would have looked for a master's in Mexico City or change job or find something else. If she didn't want to come here to a PhD, we wouldn't come. You know, like, the choice was always hers also, you know, and I think that's important to, if you're in a relationship, to establish really clear rules of how we're going to make those decisions, because that impacts her as well.
All right, so let us thank Pedro again. Yeah, so we can So let us take so what I want to do is that, of course, I will do the session with you, touch-base session with you, and this is my last chance actually before you go and do your final round of presentation and preparation. So you're going to take a 10-minute break here, and there are, so the speech, so as a continuation of the photo shoot that they started, we're still looking for volunteers who are going to give a little bit longer, 2-3-minute bites. So if 2 or 3 of you will go and volunteer outside, I really, really appreciate that. But otherwise, I'm going to be here, and we are going to take a 10-minute break and then start the group conversation. And by that time, maybe the videotaping will be done. I don't want to make anybody to miss out on the last chance of a group conversation. So, but if 2 or 3 of you will go and give a little bit longer sound bites, I think they will appreciate it. That's why they came back and they're outside. So let us take a 10-minute break.
They're doing the videos like that.
Very, oh my God.
First one?
So, Pedro, maybe you can take the both of them and tell everything.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Like, I couldn't feel it every single